Hello there. Today for my last planned video of the year, I want to talk about the characters that I have the most fun playing with in Marvel Crisis Protocol. My name is Nate, and welcome to the Gamers Guild. Yeah, this is my last planned video for the year. I say that in part because I would always love for AMG to reveal something cool enough to reel me back into making a video for it, but last year having the month of December off from making content was a great time for me to work on getting things ready on other departments like the podcast, spending time with family during the holidays, and honestly to stop me from getting burned out on MCP. So I'm going to do that again with a just light tapping on the brakes for videos and podcasts, but am also eager to just go and be able to play some more games with some of the characters I'm about to talk about. What I am about to dig into is not the characters that I think are the best in the game that I like to play with, or that I am necessarily the best at playing, but really these 5 characters are the ones that I have just had the most fun playing with whenever they hit the table for me. First up is the character that I've been able to play a lot more and more of because of my past year with Steve at the helm, and that is Mind Gem Loki. Getting a character that can count blanks on successes for both defense and offense is already really nice so that you can never have too many frustrating moments where the dice just fail you over and over. Sure, Loki will sometimes still whiff on defense or offense, but not nearly as often as pretty much anyone else in the game. That, in tangent with Trickster, also gives him enough durability and consistency that it's hard to have a game where Loki feels like he was just a major letdown, which is a big plus on its own to me. The control of the Mind Gem offers up is also nice to, just have some control, but really the steady power supply is almost equally as important. However, it's probably really the combination of Trickster and God of Mischief where Loki and his antics really become a lot of fun because the game just allows you to troll your opponent. The Loki tax of asking your opponent or reminding them to spend 1 extra power and the annoyed reactions are kind of just golden to me. And for that same reason and purpose, I never try to bring Loki in against a newer player, because him trickstering out of range or trolling a new player over power is not the kind of experience you want them to have. But against someone who is familiar with the game, put on the jester hat with a grin on your face and have fun ribbing your friends. Another character who I really enjoy playing with is Magneto. His defense dice can fall flat sometimes, but that is also probably on me for never bringing his cover bubble tactic card. But he does have some fantastic consistency on offense. It's from a combination of the rerolls he gets on his builder to all of the terrain he is tossing around. But the crater he leaves around himself as the game goes is also really funny to see after the game is over, because usually Magneto has everything thrown that's within range 3 of him, leaving a nice empty space on the board. The next character I have been having a lot of fun with more recently this past year is another 6th threat, and that's Ebony Maw with the Space Gem. That did have a little bit of rain on him since the Space Gem got restricted, but he's still a lot of fun. This is a character who has gone through a redemption arc story almost as big as Hulk's as far as his development has gone in the eyes of the community. Being able, though, to turn 1, move, and then Space Gem up to the center line, and then have an attack with that 6 dice strong and Mystic that guarantees 1 power that can then be used to throw a size 4 terrain piece long, well, it turns out that it's a lot of things that you can do, and it's a lot of fun to open up a game like that. Additionally, and going back to my enjoyment of the game letting me troll my opponent, being able to shush one of my opponent's superpowers is both a really good game effect, but also just really fun to have a nope card on hand. And I'm realizing that a lot of these characters are in the higher threat levels, so I'm going to bring that down some, and there is no one better for that reduction than Ant-Man. Now, Ant-Man does have the downside of dropping extract objectives whenever he goes tiny, but literally everything else about this guy and what he's able to pull off is amazing. The incidental movement he racks up when transforming is fantastic, and being able to position yourself onto a point, into cover, out of range of a certain attack, and so on is surprisingly helpful over the course of a game. Not to mention the free range 3 place he gets whenever he is tiny. And all of this is backed up by some pretty significant punching power. A 6-die builder and a 7-die beam that leaves the enemies stunned and poisoned is pretty powerful, especially considering he can likely get the equivalent of a range 4 place to line up his beam without any actions being taken. Really, Ant-Man is just a lot of fun to position, reposition, and then pop up with a haymaker of a punch. And then my final character that I've had a lot of fun playing with is tough because there are so many characters over the course of this last year that could fill this slot. But I would be lying to myself if I didn't put one of my more recent favorites on this list, and that is Crimson Dynamo. He is a pretty splashable character, which helps right out of the gate because he is able to see the table time more for me. But aside from that, he is a durability buffer to the team that is also pretty tanky himself, and isn't hitting the enemy with a wet noodle. Sure, he's only ever rolling 5 dice on an attack, but that's still enough to leave his enemies with some dents, as well as that nasty shock condition. Then, even over his self-applied damage reduction and the rerolls on your opponent's dice, really my favorite superpower that Dynamo has access to is his thrusters, because getting a free reposition on a character with a beam is chef's kiss levels of good. Not to mention all of the other times like moving back onto a point after getting pushed away, getting out of range of attacking, or snagging an objective with a range 2 place can just be really, really good aside from the beam. He, like many of the other characters on this list, are going to be more fun in different situations and scenarios compared to others. Dynamo on a D secure versus something like a C or E secure is going to have vastly different results. So, knowing a character's strengths and when to play to them is important to maximize the plays that you can tell stories about for the next year. But at the end of the day, play the characters that you enjoy and make memories having fun. Let me know down in the comments who are some of the characters that you enjoy playing as the most. Whether it's because it's a character you like and love from the comics just coming to life on the table like Loki is for me, or maybe just a character's mechanics and tactics that feel smooth as you use them on the table like Ant-Man. Regardless, let me know down below. As I come to a close here, I want to give one last shout out to the guild sponsors for this year. Tritex Games in the UK with Jason and his team, who run events and game nights of all sorts over the course of the year and are just genuinely lovely people. If you're shopping online anyways, either for yourself or for the holidays, and are on that side of the Atlantic, use the code TritexGGCP5 at checkout to save yourself an additional 5% off their MCP selection. And honestly, it may also not be a bad time to use them for some board game shopping for holiday gifts and stuff. Then here in the States, we have War Room Hobbies with Austin, and they're actually hosting an event here in the next couple of weeks that I'm going to be heading out to. You can use the code MCP2022 when shopping online with them to save an additional 10% off of your purchase. I want to quickly thank those who are supporting everything we are doing over on Patreon and the Guild Hall right now. I will not encourage anyone to join right now because we are taking next month off, and I will be refunding anyone who is already a member next month. I do have one sign-off ask for the year, I guess. More than half of the people watching this aren't subscribed, apparently. And that's fine, you do you, but if like 28 of you could subscribe, it would do a whole lot more than just make my day. So, with that said, happy holidays, thank you all for watching, and until next year, keep on gaming.